Okay. Oops, Super. Going into this, I do wonder what Super is going to do. I mean, one thing about being a player like this is that you're not exactly the ideal player to be farming data from, right? I mean, I don't know what kind of prep comes in here. You know, Super has not been a major player on the scene, whereas somebody like Maru, you've got a lot you can research from, a lot you can pull from, right? So
that's true.
It is one of the weird things about when you are a prominent player is all your stuff is out there all the time.
Yeah. The Yggdrasil Terran, very good.
And a proud Protoss back there, too. Maru's support in the audience. Thanks for coming down, everybody. I know it's a much later starting time here.
Yeah. Sometimes when we start this late, everyone will jet out at the last match or so to catch the subways and buses home. But
the train will be close to closing or be getting to the last train right around when this show ends, possibly.
Matters, yeah. Really matters, I guess, how long it goes. That's funny. Both these guys actually played in Legacy of the Void and was a 3-3. I had no idea.
I didn't remember that, but
well, Legacy of the Void's been out for a while now, right?
That's true.
So,
and Legacy of the Void also went through several different major transformations there. I mean, there was a whole period where Adepts were just like an unstoppable force that was torturing everything.
Yeah, the very beginning of Legacy of the Void was just Adept City.
Yeah, it was crazy. So you got to take a stat like that with a grain of salt, as we've got a much more refined and cleaned up Legacy of the Void here. We're still in Evolution, but yeah, definitely a different type of Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, let's see though what these guys want to do here. You know, this is kind of a macro map overall. Stargate opener here for Super. Maru into the factory. Nothing looks weird as of yet. There's a little bit of scouting going on.
Woo. Yeah, it's a little bit of a slower game here. The probe's going to come up here and try to get inside the main. The Reaper comes in here to deny it.
Yeah, that's actually a reasonable scout seeing the tech lab, right? You're probably going to expect a Cyclone coming out with that, or possibly a Siege Tank, I guess.
And now we're going to get this Adept coming forward here and trying to shade it and continue to spot and confirm exactly what's going on here. And there's that Cyclone you were talking about, Artosis. Back on the Protoss' side of the map, we have more Adepts continuing to be warped in. And we're going to have the Oracle coming out here as well.
Yeah, and the Cyclone going to be able to push that out most likely. Of course, this should be a 3 Adept build, right? Is the third Adept on the way right now?
I think so.
It's a very good way to do some initial harassment.
Yeah, you're not expecting to do too much with the pressure, but it's a way of keeping the Terran very honest.
Yeah.
You know, they can't cut any corners, and we've already seen some people trying to do that. But I like this Reaper coming in here. Fortunately, the Oracle is going to be able to deny it and get out right away.
Yeah.
Did he see the second
second Oracle making? I believe he did, yeah.
Okay.
But that was good timing by Maru as well to get in there. Just very, very solid on both sides so far, to be honest. And the 2 more gates coming up from Super. That's a little bit interesting. He didn't really get any sort of scouting done. That's a very safe maneuver to get those 2 additional gates. If any early attacks come, you can definitely slam them down. But as we can see in this situation, does he really need more gates? Probably not. You know,
probably not, no.
It's a 3rd command center coming up from Maru, so he's actually going to get slightly ahead as far as that economy goes.
Interesting to see Super playing a pretty standard game coming into this.
Sure.
Again, we don't really know what kind of condition Super is in. Just because he hasn't been killing it in years past doesn't mean he hasn't. Like, let's say he's got a little bit more free time. He might actually have hammered out some pretty cool stuff that we're going to see here.
Well, he has 3 Oracles, right? So the 3 Oracles, he's laying down Stasis Ward. So he's actually, it looks like he's going for a very long game, but
yeah,
again, no real scouting intel. Like, laying down these Stasis Wards, I don't mind this as like a macro play, but we can see from Maru's base he has no intention of moving out, right? And those are timed now, so not really that useful.
Okay, nice tag over there. Not exactly tagging anything that much significance, though, as I say it. Usually you want to try to tag the army if you can. And I guess now that he's tagged that and says, oh, wait, there's no defense over here, he says, oh, I guess I can actually just attack into that.
Yeah, silly, tasteless. Nothing significant is exactly what's significant.
Yeah. The tag then confirms he can go in there and harass.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I think it even took him a moment to realize, because he's like looking at it like, oh, there's really nothing there?
Yeah, yeah.
If he had flown straight in, I mean, that would have been pretty sick damage.
It's funny because, yeah, normally you do tag the army and then you try to watch and see, okay, is there a drop coming out? And then he sees, no, there's, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I can actually just go in there and kill workers.
Mech play from Maru here. Not a huge surprise. He's been using a lot of reactive mech play against Protoss, and I think that that's a totally reasonable thing to see here, especially against Stargate. Very, very oftentimes he ends up going mech against Stargate.
Okay, the Banshee's going to come in here. We'd actually, you know, he used up... Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. He does have one tag in there.
Finally.
I thought for a second he had them all out, but...
No, you were right. That's what happened. He did not have the mana for that, so he was waiting on it.
And there is a second Banshee inbound here. It looks like that's going to go towards the southern base closest to 6 o'clock here. And I don't believe there's anything to get this right away. You know, if you don't kill the Banshee immediately, you're basically guaranteed to get a decent number of kills here.
Yeah, definitely very, very annoying. Hopefully he has his Revelation ready here. Not sure if he had the energy on that other Oracle.
This Banshee's almost out of energy anyways, so... Actually, a pretty small number of probes killed there. I thought it would be a little bit higher, but 3 is the number.
I think he's still done all right with everything. Like, those Banshees were reasonable. He kind of has minimized damage that he's taken from Oracles and landed his 3rd relatively quickly. There hasn't been that much harassment. And he's gotten into his mech really cleanly. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Maru's completely fine here.
So far, so good here for Super as well. I mean, the 2 forges, just getting more and more gates. We're seeing this tech up. Yeah. So this is going to be a pretty long PvT. You know, it's one we want to kind of watch and see where the movement is on the map, and can anybody try to outposition the other one. There's no burden in this matchup where one race has to out-expand the other like it is in the matchups that involve Zerg here. So we're kind of just watching and waiting and trying to see what kind of unit comps are there, what kind of tactical setups can you get? Yeah. Can you engage them in certain ways? You know, warp prisms, warping in massive amounts of units in the main is something you want to exploit as much as possible, and abusing recall. And then Terran, it's a little bit different than if you go bio, right? I mean, bio, you're trying to find a good place to drop and usually out-position them. But in this case, we have that mech play coming here.
Yeah, he doesn't know 100%, I believe, because that hallucination just got picked off. He hasn't poked up the ramp yet to get enough tank shots to realize that it's mech, and you can see that reflected in the Colossus starting. So that's a little bit sad. I think in a situation like this, where you already have the Blink Stalkers, you'd definitely rather grab a few Disruptors, because then you can kind of just keep tearing in their base for a little bit.
I think you made a really important observation there, Artosis, is like, on Super's side of the map, overall it looks pretty good, but then when you realize, oh, he hasn't actually scouted that much, so he's actually playing against the wrong type of unit composition.
Yeah, he still is. From what he sees right here, he should actually know that it's mech, realistically. Like, you're not producing Hellions at this point in the game.
Let's see if he makes another Colossus here.
He's adding a bunch of gateways and 2 Nexuses. So the 2 Nexuses tells me he realizes it's mech. I'm always... You know, I mean, it's okay to have Colossus. I think it's actually bad against mech generally, but if you already have it, it's, you know, it does things like fights these Hellions reasonably well.
Oh my god. A lot of Stalkers getting taken down there. Nicely done. Super continuing to expand out. He's actually out-expanded Maru now, but I would imagine Maru coming up here is going to be pushing out, with Super having an inferior supply and maybe a little bit of a wonkier unit comp. Let's see how this actually goes.
Well, the Colossus is not going to be super useful. He doesn't really have the critical mass to really blast the units in the front. He doesn't have any Immortals either. So you look at this army, like, what does that army beat? Does it beat that army? I don't think so. Last I checked, no.
Okay, the siege tanks are coming up. The rocks are about to be torn down. We have another warp in coming in here. A lot of Templars just now delivered. Archon's beginning to warp in, but it's possible the Terran could begin this attack right now. We see the Hellbats coming down the ramp. The stasis wards have been triggered, and this should allow Maru to get a very good setup threatening this Nexus.
Yeah, I think he has to give up that Nexus, doesn't he? He doesn't even have charge. Charge has just started. 2-2 has just started. He continues to add gates, but his supply is 162. Look at that. He has so many gates, and he's... Oh, my God. Brutal.
Yeah, that's going to be it. GG. Wow. Super gets crushed in Game 1 versus Maru. I got to say, Super looked like a solid player, but the way that game tempoed out was a little bit awkward, right? I mean, he had less supply than Maru. He was on 5 bases there before the attack had started. It's like, okay, Maru just has more than you.
He was playing overwhelmingly defensively, and his scouting was truly below what he needed.
Yeah, lackluster for sure.
Yeah, he didn't know it was mech for an extremely long amount of time. He kind of went into the wrong unit set.
Now, had Maru been going for bio there, that might have been a more interesting game, but it was like we basically saw Super follow like the wrong build algorithm, and some of that might be nerves. You know, he did have some clean openings at the start.
Yeah,
but he sort of was playing his own game and not the one that Maru was playing. You know,
the random stasis ward in the middle, and then like I mean, he did a little bit of harassment, but then he mostly had to sit at home and defend Banshees. Kind of a rough first game in some ways.
Let's see how he does in game 2. That's loaded up now.
Fight. Jin Air Green Wings, Maru. Super.
So here we are. See what Super has in him. You know, that again, he didn't really. I don't know. Games like that, I always find a bit disappointing. When you don't actually know what they're doing, and you're preparing for what you blindly believe that they're doing.
It's a good
and
reminder.
then you just lose, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it's also like, oh, nice. I will Maru you for sure. I will game Maru that guy right now. Thanks for coming down, everybody. I know it's much later than we normally start. Yeah, no, it's kind of sad where you see, like, Super just, like, not playing against the right unit composition. I mean, you really do need to make sure you absolutely are scouting and not even just getting vision of the stuff, but identifying what you're seeing and saying, okay, am I doing what I need to do right now?
Yeah. Everything was so blind, and then he has like 6 Phoenixes. He never really harassed with them. Like, I know that there were Banshees, I get it, but
he even
you're
had
doing nothing.
He even had this observer just on the edge there too, and he saw the mech units. But
well, he knew it was mech then, but that was quite late, and he didn't really slow anything down. He just. Not a lot of things were done.
You know, maybe you've experienced this too, but when you're in a game and maybe you're really overwhelmed, I know I've had moments where it's like, okay, I had vision of that, but I wasn't really looking at it and thinking of it at the time.
Sure.
You know, and I think that was something that happened there. He might have glanced and seen tanks, but not thought, wait a minute, there's only tanks, and now there's Hellions there. You know, because he was making that first Colossus. I don't want to harp on the guy too much, but yeah, he definitely wasn't playing the kind of game he needed to play there. So hopefully he'll have a better run this time around.
Well, he's going for the Stargate opener again, which is, again, it's totally fine. I think he realizes he needs to be a little bit more on top of scouting. Now, Maru is playing a different opener here as well, making a couple Hellions instead of going for that Cyclone right away.
Yeah.
Which, you know, maybe that opens up the opportunity for a bit of damage from an Oracle coming in.
Okay, here comes that Adept now. Does see the reactor right before he cancels that Shade.
Gonna push out with these Hellions for the time being. No wall for Super, so we know that things can go wrong in situations like this occasionally. Looks like he's getting ready maybe for a Raven here.
That Oracle is just now going to pop out, and there's the second one, and he's actually getting Cloak
So
and
right into
Banshees.
Yeah, totally fine play. And a good defensive stance there by Super, so that should minimize damage coming in, especially if his Oracle is nearby, like it seems like it's going to be.
Now we want to watch the Oracles and see where they are and how much energy they spend here, because, you know, organically you do have an answer to Cloak Banshees here, right? I mean, you can get something to spot detection. Oh my god, hold on, these Hellions just got in here. Nice splitting here by Maru, but I don't know if he's going to get very many kills here.
Well, he split the Hellions, which was a pretty smart move. And there's some hemming and hawing going on from Super. He was like attacking that one, then ran up into the main base. We have 4 probes dying. This was good.
I want to point something out there as well. That was a lot of energy spent on the Oracles. Banshee's going to be inbound here, and these Oracles might not have anything to tag that. And if you can't flag the Banshee immediately, it is just going to get a lot of kills. So let's watch for that next here.
Yeah, that is an important thing to mention. He does have another Oracle on the way, so I think that damage will be minimized, especially considering he's playing so defensively. But I think the defense of those 4 Hellions was quite strong. So, a reasonable opener, no doubt. Let's see what this Banshee does, though. This is kind of the moment of truth for Super.
Yeah, I mean, the Oracles are not in the right spot to defend. You also got to see how fast Super responds. It's interesting. Maru really preempts that cloak, but I guess it's probably more important. You at least get over the probes first undetected, right?
Well, you're going to catch it on the minimap if it's not cloaked, so he wants to get in there not being seen. You're never going to use up all this mana on the Banshee, you know?
Right, good point. Okay, 3 kills there.
Yep.
Keep in mind that Maru is trading small bits of army for small numbers of probes here. But behind this, we're going to have bio play with a 3rd CC just now starting here.
This was kind of funny, too, by the way, because he started the Cyclone upgrade and then canceled it and went into Stim. So I feel like he wasn't 100% decided maybe on what he was going to do until that moment. So obviously, like, at this point in the game, when he's sitting so defensively on these, do you need that Cyclone upgrade? Not really.
Mm-hmm. Would it be funny if then this game, Super then plays like he's playing against Mech and
oh my God.
goes the wrong direction?
That would be so sad. If he doesn't get a real scout off. It's kind of funny, too, because it's like, well, I mean, you're sitting at home with, like, 3 Oracles and 2-3 Phoenixes. I promise you can send one of them across the map to scout and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I promise you that. Okay, there's something going across the map right now. Not sure exactly what it is. Here it comes. Okay, Hallucinate Phoenix sees that it's bio play. I think he's going to feel a bit more comfortable playing against that.
Yeah, from that first game, that's definitely the game he had practiced to play against.
Yeah.
And so we now have Super beginning to fan out on the map to check for spotters, like this Marine over here. And I'm wondering, I think we might just see some more passivity here from Maru with that 3rd CC finishing up and just taking that. I don't think he's going to push. It's just going to be 3 base versus 3 base for a little bit here.
Well, normally, pretty soon here, we're going to see Maru's army supply shoot up above Super's. That's just like a very... Ooh, nice trigger there. Super tried to stop it. But we should see Maru come out on the map, I would say.
Okay.
Right? You know, obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's just going to go and try to kill anything. But when you get that kind of advantage, you want to be poking a little bit, see if you can get out of position. Maybe you can get a drop-off in the main or pick off some valuable units here or there. So I think we'll see that from Maru relatively soon here as his upgrades finish up.
We've got Blink coming down here. In what has basically become a fairly passive game. There was a few modest poke-ins from Maru that didn't really do that much. And here comes Super diving in, trying to get some kills on these workers. Not terrible.
Not great either.
Yeah.
Kind of some funny lifts there. He's just like casting all his spells at once. Revelation goes down on the SCVs. I'm like, what? I don't know.
SCV picked up and then dropped. And
yeah,
then
yeah, that's true.
But let's see what happens as this wave of upgrades finishes here. Concussive shells and 1-1 for Maru. That might be when he tries to come out. It's always a little bit weird in PvT because, again, you're both kind of growing at the same rate, especially in PvTs where you're far away from each other. It's kind of tricky, right? Because you know, the moment that you come out, a lot of times then that's when the counterattack or the drop comes in there, especially if it's Terran doing bio here.
Yeah.
So we might even have them just still stay back and power up a little bit further along here.
Well, looks like Maru finally going to come out in the map a little bit.
Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, and this is kind of expected. Again, it doesn't necessarily need to kill anything, but it has potential to, right? You get out of position for a moment, and that's where Maru can make some moves. But Super's doing pretty well. Like, he's gotten into his Colossus really cleanly. He's going to have Blink soon here. He already has Charge. And, I mean, I don't think he can engage that army right this second, but I don't think this army's going to kill him.
Okay, another tag there. He's trying to watch where this army is going to go. And I don't know that Maru can get up this ramp, especially with the Colossi here.
Yeah, it's hard.
It seems incredibly ambitious to try that out. And I think when Super forced the siege there, he did the exact right thing to back off.
Yeah.
He's making him siege again here, but I don't think that these tanks are in range of anything important, right?
No,
they can't even hit those probes.
As these 2 Colossus come down, I think you actually jump on this. Send in your Phoenixes, lift up some tanks. Just do everything.
Okay, there's not quite enough medevacs to pick up everything here. Oh, this is a very awkward siege over here.
Yeah, the Colossus actually doing some serious work here. The tanks get picked up for quite some time.
Wait, how is Maru doing so well in this fight, though? It's just like, I thought this was going to be way more one-sided. What?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, Super still holds it up. I actually thought that was going to be a much bigger domination there from Super, though.
Yeah, I think he didn't quite do it perfectly. Maybe that blink to the side wasn't perfect or something, but that still, I think, was good for Super, right? He reduced that army quite a bit, and he still has a couple Colossi left over. He has 2 Forges running, so that's pretty cool. But Maru is so on top of his macro play. He already has his 4th command center done. Think about that, right? You don't see too many Terrans that, like, while they're attacking, they're like, yeah, I'm still expanding. I'm still, you know, Terran can take all these bases. And he's gone right into Liberator range as well, which is, you know, the next step. Really, I mean, it's such a pleasure watching Maru play this matchup.
Yeah, I guess the big question now for Super is, can he keep up, right? He did come out on top after that fight, but you have to keep the ball rolling. You know, you got to keep doing this. And
well, we haven't seen a Templar Archives from him, right? So that's kind of the missing piece to this puzzle. He's taking a 5th base without a Templar Archives. And it just feels like that's something that you really want right now. You want to get into your 2nd set of splash damage.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're still waiting on that for sure.
That 1 Phoenix made 4 Maru Medivacs turn around.
Very modest harass again here from Super. And the overarching dilemma on both sides here is trying to have a push that's strong enough, but also defend all the possible counterattacks, which both races can do to each other. It's a very interesting matchup, PBT. We got actually Super moving out on the map with those Colossi. Let's see what kind of angles he gets in fights here as well.
By the way, I really like the Immortal adds. I think that's a great thing to do with your Robos at this point.
Yeah.
Really adds a lot of punch. And once you start getting like 4 Immortals, you can target down Planetaries pretty quickly. Okay, nice blink forward. Going to pick off that Siege Tank. Only going to lose a single Stalker for it. You know, obviously the Liberators are something that can help him hold on here, but this is a very mobile and scary army from Super. He has potential for some damage. Look at that. Get out of here, Command Center.
Yeah. He's just on the edge over here. He's got to be careful not to overextend.
Whoa!
And I guess Super's going to pull the trigger, but he blinks in front of his own Zealots. Yeah, this is a very odd angle. Now, the Colossi are getting some good shots, but one of them is hitting the refinery over here.
He really wants to delay that gas mine.
It's still just hitting this, but it looks like Super is still coming out on top in this fight.
I tell you what, that's some killer instinct. I wasn't sure that he was going to
Dude, I didn't think it was going to work at all. I thought it was going to...
Well, it was such an awkward blink forward. Like, I knew his army was strong, but hey, more power to him. That is a strong move right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That actually might knock Maru into a position where I don't know if he can really recover. I mean, Super has definitely been on top of expanding. I don't believe he's had any probes transferred to his 5th base, but I mean, he's basically got Maru in such a bad spot right now. Maru is able to defend his natural, kind of, sort of, maybe, but then he has this maroon 3rd base that's just to the left of this. It's like, it's a planetary, but okay, and I think Super is going to try to come in here with a neck-breaking attack.
Yeah, the SCV is being pulled from absolutely everywhere right now. Great army movement right now from Super. Just continuing to warp in.
So this is Super's game to lose here. I'm so shocked that that attack worked like that. Both the big fights here have had some big surprises.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like it from Super that he really, you know, he chose to do that move that really seemed questionable for a moment, but then he made it work. So cheers to him. That one there, like some of these attacks that he's doing, I almost feel like I'm watching Patience a little bit.
Yeah.
There's like 6 Liberator Siege. She's like, yes, I will blink into that. But there are Marauders with it. No, it's fine. I'll do it. And the thing is, it kind of half worked. So cheers to him. Now look at this. This is where those Immortals really come into play. Oh my God, that damage output.
Yeah.
It's so funny. All right, nice blink forward here. Going to try to target down these Liberators and GG.
Well, that is
Super.
a big shock there.
Yeah, no, that was good. This play against Bio looking very, very strong. Now the real test comes in map 3 because we're actually going to go to King's Cove, which is probably the most mech'd upon map for TvP.
Yeah,
we really do see a lot of mech here, from Gumiho to Maru to Innovation. Everyone really kind of likes mech here. You can turtle those 3 bases so easily.
You know, Super coming out here at a very kind of conservative laddering build. You know what I'm saying? Like,
kind of,
he's kind of opening with a. If you wanted to copy a build, that's a really safe one to do. Like, if you're the person that doesn't want to cannon rush every game to get to the top rank, you want to play like some macro style. That's the way to do it. But yeah, I agree with you that this would be a great map for Maru to mech on. And let's also keep in mind nobody's done any cheeses yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's true. I think Maru doesn't cheese here, though. I think
Yeah.
he probably will go into mech play if I had to guess.
Okay, game 3's up. Let's go. Maru versus Super.
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru. Super.
Yeah. It's I mean, it was well played, though. It wasn't what I was expecting. But that type of powerful play, I think, should be respected, right? Because, you know, some of the critiques that were coming out from my mouth, like, oh, he's not going into Size Storm. That's kind of interesting because he's going up to 5 bases, right? Normally you want your second set of splash damage. Kind of, you know, that's something, generally speaking, that's a very good thing to do. But he kind of looked at what he had, the type of army he had, the type of production and upgrades and what had happened in the game already, and decided that he could make a very strong, very decisive move. And, I mean, it definitely turned out well, right?
Yeah.
That was a hard one to call because the Liberators were sieged. It was kind of a tight area. The blink forward looked wonky, but he broke it, and that led to the victory. So that was actually, you know, that's the type of move that if he waited another round of units to come out, right, that might not have worked anymore. That might have gone terribly wrong, and we'd be like, wow, Super's really not looking good today. But it was definitely a call that he made earlier on, right?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't think he can do that, I'm telling you, he goes into more tech. You don't just, right? You don't just make Colossus
There's definitely
and sit there.
something there, right? Because, first of all, both the attacks were not executed optimally. Like, even in that second one where he broke in there was like a Colossus that was just shooting a refinery the whole time.
Yeah.
It literally wasn't even damaging anything.
Totally.
And, you know, if you have 4 Colossi spraying down in a wide range, a lot of infantry, I mean, it's pretty brutal, but he even blinked in front of his Zealots there, and it still works. So he's definitely onto something.
Yeah.
And this is Maru, where I'm basically used to Maru always winning every fight, or he's pushed away and then it's back to even.
Sure.
So it's kind of crazy to see Super, of all players, do that. But again, we haven't really seen much of Super, so we don't know what's been going on in the lab with him, you know?
And I think even just from today, it's going to be hard to judge.
Right.
No matter what happens today, because this is the first time we're seeing him back in the GSL for quite some time. So I'm open to whatever style he's going to be overall. I mean, you know, that game just gave me slight Patience vibes, but Super's his own player, and we're going to see what he wants to do here.
Okay, the Adept Shade's in here.
All right, finishes the Shade as well.
Yeah.
Some light harassment going on.
He'll try to shade out here, but the depots are already up, so that's the end of that.
And just blink on the way, very standard type of build order here.
Robo as well.
2 gates in the Robo, okay. Cool. As far as Maru goes, this all looks very standard at the moment, just some Marines and mines. Maybe we'll see him go into a little bit of a mine drop. It's pretty popular.
Yep, here comes that starport that's about to finish up. Maru really made the mine drops something to admire. You know, when he kind of proved that it doesn't have to be the first or the second one that works. Eventually, you get momentum, and it could start to spiral out of control.
I really favor the way that Maru looks at mines. I feel like a lot of players treat that as a factory unit. He treats it as a very dispensable unit.
Yeah.
It's like one that can absolutely be lost, and you're kind of investing them over time, and some do well and some don't, right? And you're kind of... I don't know, the way he looks at it feels like it's different.
I think you're making a really interesting point with that. If you think about it, factory units are always sort of sacred, right?
Yes.
Maybe not the Hellion as much, but you know, when you think of tanks or anything that, you know, costs a decent amount of gas. But yeah, you're right. He just chucks them out. Like, if it works, great. If not, great. Whatever.
Wow, 2 probe kills. Yeah, it's cool.
So we have the Raven coming here instead.
Yeah, changing it up a little bit. Yeah, here comes the mine drop.
Okay.
A well-placed pylon, though. You might be able to just barely see that, perhaps.
I guess not.
No, his army's moving out, so he definitely did not.
Okay. All right, now let's watch and see how fast Super reacts. Maru's got a lot of killer instinct at moments like this. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that was just an awesome mine.
Yeah,
that is one of the best first mine drops that we've seen in a while.
Yeah. I mean, when you consider that a lot of games, Maru's first mine drop doesn't do anything, it's just, like we said, the third or even the fourth.
Yeah.
That's a big win. 7 probes killed that early is huge, especially because Terran traded nothing. Not even a mine itself. I mean, and in fact, this next drop might go undetected. I'm not sure of how aware Super is of the blind spots in the back of his base. He might need to have this better lined with pylons so he can spot it. All right, here we go. Quick reaction timing from Super, but this is, again, going to kill at least 2 probes, right? Oh, 1, because 1 went inside the geyser.
But look, this is really, Maru's getting way more out of this than you normally do. Oh my gosh, he's even going to send it an auto turret?
Yeah, this is an older technique. But we do see it occasionally where they'll chuck 1 auto turret down.
Well, it's especially good right here because he has some intel, and I think he realizes that Colossus isn't on the way, so you don't need that energy as much, right? And you've already killed probes. When you've already killed workers, it's even more valuable to kill workers.
Right, yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but it's true.
No, it's especially early in a game, if you kill workers, if you can keep that ball rolling, killing workers over and over, and you're not being touched back at home, you're in great shape. Now, we are, I believe, going to have a push in just a little bit here. Stim's close to finishing. He's got combat shields. Maru is taking a 3rd CC here, but that push is going to come out regardless. It's like a might as well expand there.
Okay, so moving down the map right now. He's going to have that combat shields and Stim and +1
Yeah, keep in mind, with the Raven over here, there's a parked medevac in the very bottom right corner of the map. So these are going to be opportunities for him to try to come in and relocate the army of Super, in which case then the big attack can come in here and probably smash the 3rd. Maybe the 2nd. We'll see which area he chooses to go to. Also bear in mind that, the Stalkers took that out. There is also a chance of drops coming in here as well.
Okay, reasonable force fields, just slightly off, though. He's using up all of this sentry energy. He actually warps in more sentries, realizing he can't fight quite yet. 1-1 is just about finished, so Maru's hitting a perfect timing here.
Yeah, he's going to be doing a lot of damage just before these upgrades can actually finish off. Now, there's still 1 Immortal over there.
These force fields have saved Super. Really, really saved him. I don't know if he's completely savable at this point, but another Immortal coming down. A blink forward here, actually targeting medevacs as opposed to units.
Yeah, the thing is, he did take out that 3rd Nexus there. And even though that attack has been cleaned up, now Maru's 3rd command center is finishing up as basically Maru is so in Super's face right now. Super is not going to do anything on Maru's side of the map. And yeah.
Oh, that 7 kills on that. Mine and Marauder drop coming here. Yeah, it's kind of a funny drop. How do you clear that? That's the question.
Well, especially if he gets the Robo over here. Even more annoying, right?
I mean, every little bit of damage really counts.
Oh my God!
Here. Oh,
that was so well done. He's so good.
Oh, and now another auto turret to the main base. I feel like Super has just been on the back foot the entire time. The amount of probes he's lost, the amount of damage he's taken already.
You know when you see a cat catch something and it doesn't kill it right away, instead it plays with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Maru's doing to Super right now.
So you're saying he's a very scared chipmunk?
Yes.
Or bird?
Yes. It's a very sad little animal.
Or if you have an indoor cat, a ball of yarn.
Yes.
Very scared ball of yarn.
Very scared ball of yarn. Okay, so again, another big drop in here. It's really a matter of Super trying to put out fires that Maru is, I think, as this game goes on, setting very much too quickly for Super to really deal with. It's really smart that he's hitting this area. If he ever wins a fight over there, he's going to get the Robo, and the Immortals are about the only thing that's really holding these fights off.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's just hitting everywhere as well. Look at this, 3rd base being hit now. Very little.
Oh,
yeah.
GG.